I was going through the comments on one of my older videos when one simple line stopped me like a punch to the chest. Someone wrote, It's not just the UK, it's the whole Western world." And then another said, "I'm not living, I'm just existing." And the one that really hit me was this one: "Time is the only currency we spend without knowing the balance." I must have read hundreds of comments from the UK, Canada, USA, and Australia, and many others, and they were all describing the exact same life, the same pressure, the same stress, the same feeling that something is deeply wrong. So today I want to tell you a story, my story, your story, our story, and show you the evidence that this isn't random. It isn't bad luck, and it isn't just how things are. Healthcare is collapsing in every Western country. Housing is impossible for entire generations. People are working harder than ever while earning the same or less. And somehow the ones at the top keep getting richer. So let's talk about what's really going on. Let me start with something personal, because it became personal for me too. In the UK, only 72% of emergency patients are seen within 4 hours. That's not the target. Unfortunately, that's the reality. 10% wait over 12 hours. And if you've ever sat in A&E in pain, exhausted, scared, thirsty, and ignored, you know how long those hours feel. But I thought this was a UK problem. But then I read the comments. People from Canada saying a 30-week wait to see a specialist. It's the longest in our history. People from America, 220 billion in medical debt. Australia, my GP isn't taking new patients. The list is now closed. Three different systems, thousands of miles apart, yet somehow the same story. Long waits, burnt out staff, huge bills, families drained dry. And this is the part that made me stop scrolling, because it doesn't even matter if the system is private or public. People get sick, and when they get sick, they get broke. The NHS waiting list hits 2.8 million people, the highest ever recorded. In America, medical debt affects 100 million people. That's nearly a third of all adults. In Canada, two-thirds wait months just to see a specialist. Different countries, different systems, same suffering. That's not an accident, that's a pattern. Now let's talk about something that's hitting almost everyone: housing. In England, the median house price is £290,000, about 7.7 times the median salary. In London, it's over 11 times. But then I saw comments from people in Toronto saying Toronto is impossible. Vancouver, housing's just exploded. Texas, even Texas, young people can't buy. It's not just high prices, it's a system that rewards people who already own and punishes the people who don't. Look at the cladding scandal in UK. Millions living in unsafe buildings because developers took shortcuts and then left leaseholders to pay for it. Developers walked away with billions. Ordinary people walked away with repair bills and property that they can't quite sell. Canada's quality of life score dropped from 9th to 27th in one decade. mostly because housing went from expensive to, are you joking? First time buyer deposit in the UK, around £56,000. That's virtually impossible for most first time buyers. In America, 78% of people live paycheck to paycheck. Let me put this simply. If you can't buy, you rent. If you rent forever, you never build wealth. If you never build wealth, you work forever. It's not a housing market, it's a trap, a system that's set up to trap. Here's the part that blew my mind. Since 1979, American workers have become 70% more productive. But wages? They've remained flat. If wages had kept up with productivity, the median American household would earn about $92,000 a year, not $61,000. Imagine earning enough value for $92,000 but being paid like you're worth $61,000. I wonder, who gets this extra? It's not you, is it? In the UK, Canada, Australia, it's exactly the same pattern. Your productivity pays for someone else's yacht. And then people brag about working 60 hours a week like it's a badge of honour. But the comments told the truth. I'm just existing, working ourselves to death. I missed my kids growing up. Time is the only currency we use without knowing the balance. I figured it all out too late. Quiet quitting wasn't laziness, it was rebellion. People silently stepping back from a game they can't win. We produce more, we earn the same. Prices climb faster than wages. And yet we're still told to work harder. All of this is happening at exact same time in countries that supposedly have different economies, different leaders, and different values. This is too synchronized to be a coincidence. The next part is where the story changes because it stopped being research and became, well, personal. My comment section turned into a migration map. People saying things like, I'm heading to the Philippines. I've moved to Spain. I'm thinking about Thailand. Come to Paraguay. A global quiet escape. Then suddenly, only a week ago in fact, UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves floated a settling up charge, a 20% exit tax on wealthy people leaving the UK. It's being discussed for the autumn budget in a couple of weeks' time. France has it, Spain has it, Germany has it, Norway has it. Canada calls it a departure tax. Australia taxes unrealised gains if you leave. Isn't it funny they don't refund realised losses? Millions of people start thinking about leaving, then suddenly the governments find a way to trap the money. It made me ask something I'd never dared to ask before. If a system punishes you for leaving, well, were you ever truly free? And then I started seeing another pattern, hidden in plain sight. Large corporations increasingly buy more housing stock at a faster rate. Regular families priced out. Working adults with no emergency savings. Governments desperate for tax revenue. Ordinary people drowning in stress. Ask yourself, who benefits from a society where the average person is exhausted, broke, and trapped. Governments benefit because stressed out people don't move. Debt keeps you rooted. High housing costs keep you compliant. Working forever keeps taxes flowing. Corporations benefit because when 80% of people live paycheck to paycheck, they can't demand fair wages. Billionaires benefit. Oxfam report that billionaire wealth grew by $2 trillion last year alone, roughly 5.7 billion every day. 5.7 billion every single day. The number of billionaires rose to 2,769, and 60% of their wealth comes from inheritance, monopolies, or crony connections. You know, the old boys club. In the UK, billionaire wealth climbed by £35 million a day last year, while we queue for A&E or save for a deposit that never materialises. The richest 1% extract more and more through the financial system. Coincidence? No, no. It's a system designed to extract, not support. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, why am I talking about this? Because it's not just numbers to me. In my early 50s, I ended up in a hospital bed, machines beeping around me, realizing I'd spent decades chasing security, long hours, mounting debt, constant stress, while feeling anything but secure. The irony? I'd been paying into the healthcare system my whole life. Yet there I was, waiting 7 hours to see a doctor. The same system that's supposed to protect me had become part of the problem. When I finally saw the specialist, he told me that I'd ignored the warning signs for years because I was too busy working. Too busy existing, like many others, he said. I watched loved ones disappear while they worked nights. I ignored my health because I was too busy chasing that paycheck that never seemed to stretch far enough. That moment crystallized everything. I'd been living to work, not working to live. If you've stopped existing and started living, make sure you're subscribed because what I'm about to share could change everything for you too. I decided there and then I had to change. At 53, I sold nearly everything and I'm ready to move abroad. Hopefully, this side of Christmas, as we're still waiting for the final parts of exchange of contract on our house sale. The commenters who moved to Spain, Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia, Costa Rica, and all the other places, I see you. To those still wondering if it's too late, it isn't. But recognizing this imprisonment is the first step out. The real question isn't whether this is all happening on purpose. The signs make that pretty clear, don't they? The real question is, are you going to stay stuck in it? We can all see what's happening. Healthcare's falling apart. Housing is out of reach. Wages haven't kept up with life. Billionaires added 2 trillion to their wealth last year, while many of us are choosing between heating and eating. And now exit taxes are popping up the moment people start talking about leaving. You already know the problem. So in the next few videos, I'm going to focus on a solution. The same path that I've discovered, and the same path thousands of others are already taking. Places where the cost of living makes sense. Places where your time, your money, and your peace actually matter. I'll show you how people are protecting their savings, finding communities that actually care, and building lives that feel human again, not just busy. So, if you're tired of simply getting through each day, I get it. Please stay with me. The Western world might be broken, but there is a way out. And if you're already planning your escape, tell us where you're thinking of going and when. If you've already moved, well done. Please share your story. Give the rest of us a bit of hope that this is possible. We're all trying to figure this out together. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe and tap the bell because next week I'm sharing the exact blueprint I'm using to leave this system behind. Honestly, it might be the most important video I've ever made so far. This is Spence Unpacked, and if you're the last one out to leave Britain, would you please turn off the lights? I'll see you later.